How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. The 10 greatest players in NBA history all won at least multiple championships and have all won MVP. Every single MVP winner will always go down as one of the best players of their generation. A couple all-time greats like Dwayne Wade and Jerry West, who's won NBA championships, never won the regular season Most Valuable Player award. Some of the players who's won MVP but hasn't won a ring yet, some of them still playing today. So here's every single NBA player who's won an MVP that never won a title. Let's start out with Charles Barkley, who will sadly be known as another victim beaten by Jordan in the 90s. Was at the very prime of his career in the 92-93 season. After being traded from the Sixers to the Suns, Sir Charles made Phoenix into heavy contenders. Averaged 25.6 points, 12.2 rebounds, over 5 assists on 52% shooting. Led his Suns to 62 wins, best record in the NBA. After having trouble in the first round, in danger against the 8-seeded Lakers, down 0-2, Phoenix won 3 straight to win in 5. Barkley had Kevin Johnson, Richard Dumas, Dan Marley, and Danny Ainge close out San Antonio in the semis in Game 6 after nailing the game-winning jumper over David Robinson. Was absolutely relentless in the conference finals against Seattle. With the series tied at 2-2, Chuck took matters into his own hands, had a triple-double in Game 5, 43 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists on 16 of 22 shooting in a 120-114 win. After Seattle pushed the series to 7, Chuck had one of the greatest individual performances in Game 7 history. With a trip to the finals, Barkley went bananas, finished with 44 points, 24 rebounds in 46 minutes on 60% shooting. Also won a solid 19 of 22 from the line, just would not be stopped. Destroyed Shawn Kemp and the Sonics defense in a 123-110 victory. Everything seemed to be going perfect for Chuck, who could almost taste glory. But the only man who stood in his way, the GOAT, Michael Jordan. Phoenix had home court, won 5 more games than Chicago in the regular season. MJ scored 31 in Game 1, better than Barkley's 21 in a 100-92 win. Chuck elevated his game to new heights in Game 2, but the GOAT simply matched every ounce of it. Scottie Pippen made a huge block on Danny Ainge's jumper with 25 seconds left, up 3. Chicago escaped with a 111-108 win. Jordan and Barkley each finished with 42 points, down 2 games to 1. Phoenix did win Game 3 in triple overtime despite MJ's 44-point effort, but in Game 4, Jordan proved he was boss, demoralized the hearts of the Suns, responded with a 55-point epic performance along with 8 rebounds. Barkley finished with 32 points, 12 boards, 10 assists, but Michael was by far the more superior player, and in the closeout game, Chicago had the lead throughout. Phoenix rallied in the 4th with their defense. Up 4 with 64 seconds left, Chuck snatched a huge offensive rebound, but his teammates couldn't deliver. After a missed jumper by Kevin Johnson, Michael took it all the way to the basket, easily scored for 2. Next possession, Dan Marley missed a wide open corner jumper. Perhaps he was a bit nervous. Down 2, Jordan pushed the ball up court, got rid of it. The Suns defense scrambled, leaving John Paxson open, nailing the dagger with 3.9 seconds left. Final possession, Kevin Johnson's jumper was blocked by Horace Grant at the buzzer, giving the Bulls a 3-peat. Barkley was left in disbelief, could have forced a Game 7, his closest ever to sniffing a title. The following season, Chuck's Suns won 56-26, but Hakeem's Rockets stood in his way. Phoenix took the first 2 games on the road, but Houston won the next 2 in Phoenix. Hakeem had 37 points, 17 rebounds in Game 7, outplayed Barkley for the whole series, and would go on to win the title. His 59-win Suns the following year once again lost to Hakeem's Rockets. This time, Mario Elie delivered the dagger in the coffin. In Game 7, Hakeem once again got the better of Barkley. Phoenix had multiple chances in Game 5, but Chuck missed the clutch free throws that would have sealed it. Blew a 3-1 lead. Another heartbreaking loss for the 32-year-old, lost in the first round the following season, then traded to the Rockets in summer of 96. Barkley, Olajuwon, and Drexler were all 34 years old, past their primes. After knocking off the regaining Western Conference champs Seattle Sonics in the semis in 7 games, John Stockton broke the hearts of Barkley by nailing the game-clinching Series 3 at the buzzer, sending Utah a trip to the finals. Barkley's last real chance at the title was getting older. His team lost in the first round each of the next 2 seasons, ruptured his left quad in the December game of 99 against Philly, had to be carried off the court, retired when the season ended. He also made the conference finals his first year with the Sixers, lost to Larry Bird's Celtics in 5. Karl Malone, the two-time MVP, made the playoffs every season of his 19-year career. Didn't have much of a chance in the 80s since the Lakers ruled the West, made the conference finals for the first time in 92, fell short to Clyde Drexler's Blazers in 6, appeared in the Western Conference Finals again in 96, took Seattle to 7 games, was fouled with 8.2 seconds left down 3 with a chance to narrow the deficit. The mailman missed 2 clutch free throws, a devastating heartbreaking defeat. He also shot 8 of 22 from the field that game and was an abysmal 6 of 12 from the line, but finally reached the finals the next 2 seasons. In game 1 of the 97 finals on a Sunday, Malone was fouled with 9.2 seconds left in a tie game. Before the free throws, Scottie Pippen leaned in and said, "The mailman don't deliver on Sundays," went on to miss both free throws, and Michael Jordan hit the walk-off game winner, giving the Bulls the win. In the 98 finals, Malone had a golden opportunity to take the series to 7, got the ball on the block in game 6 up 1, but Jordan reached in, perfectly stripped him clean, crossed up Brian Russell, drained the go-ahead jumper. John Stockton missed the 3 at the buzzer. Utah once again lost in heartbreaking fashion. Jordan simply outplayed and dominated Malone both times. Karl was aging and lost in the semis the next 2 seasons, followed by 3 straight first-round exits. Signed with the Lakers his final season, lost to Detroit in 5 games in the finals, hurt his knee in the regular season, but the damage ended up being more severe. At 41 years old, Malone struggled mightily, missed game 5, wasn't able to play at full strength. Father Time just took over, a sad ending to a Hall of Fame career. Allen Iverson, who always lacked a true supporting cast. After losing in the semis his 3rd and 4th season, AI single-handedly carried the 56-win Sixers to the finals. His MVP season with Eric Snow, George Lynch, and Tony Kukoc, Theo Ratliff, Dikembe Mutombo, and Tyronn Hill had no chance against Kobe and Shaq's Lakers, won 1 game against the 15-1 Lakers in the playoffs, famously stepped over Tyronn Lue, averaged 35.6 points in the series, but LA was too stacked. Sadly, Iverson never had a good enough supporting cast, only won 1 playoff series after the 0-1 finals, beat New Orleans in 2003 before falling to the Pistons, lost to Detroit again in 05, was beat by the eventual champion Spurs in 07, was swept by Kobe's Lakers in 08, and afterwards, Father Time caught up to Iverson. AI never really had a fair shot at contending for a championship with a good enough team. Steve Nash, who should have won multiple titles with Phoenix, but had plenty of unfortunate injuries from his teammates. First in 2003 with Dallas, when Dirk went down in Game 3 of the conference finals, the series was tied at 1 apiece. Both teams won 60 games. San Antonio ended up winning in 6. In 2005 with the Suns, the MVP led his team to the best record, 62 wins, destroyed and abused Dallas in the semis, but fell to San Antonio in 5 since starting shooting guard Joe Johnson missed the first 2 games, both where Phoenix lost by single digits at home after suffering an eye injury from the series before. Phoenix wasn't at full strength in 2006. Amari was out with injury, and the short-handed Suns lost to Dallas in the conference finals. And in 07, after Robert Horry heat-checked Nash, sending him to the ground, Amari and Boris Diaw react, slightly stepping onto the court, resulting in suspensions for a crucial Game 5. Phoenix would lose 88-85 in a nail-biter, where James Jones was the only guy who scored for them off the bench. Old Kurt Thomas was forced to start, lost Game 6 to San Antonio, where it would have been very likely Nash would have won Game 5 with Amari in the lineup. A painful way to go out, won 55 games the following year, but was the 6th seed, lost to the same Spurs in 5 games, but his 54-win Suns had another shot in 2010, swept San Antonio in the 2nd round. Nash had 29 points, 11 assists in Game 5 against Kobe's Lakers. After Jason Richardson's game-tying 3, Ron Artest was at the right place at the right time with the clutch putback at the buzzer. Kobe closed out Game 6 on the road. Nash was aging, signed with the Lakers at 38 years old, but Kobe tore his Achilles towards the end of the season. Nash retired the year after without winning a title. Out of the current players who won MVP but still hasn't won a title yet, Derrick Rose, who was poised for superstardom, won MVP in only his 3rd season, the youngest in NBA history at 22 years old, lost to a better Miami Heat team in 5 games, tore his ACL the following season in Game 1 in the 1st round against Philly, was never the same afterwards, redeemed himself a little bit with a game-winning 3 in Game 3 in the semis against the Cavs, but wasn't the same player, lost in 6 to Cleveland, and had his prime taken away from him. D-Rose still has a couple years left as an effective player. We'll see what happens next. Russell Westbrook, who blew his chances multiple times, lost in the 2012 finals where he committed a dumb foul on Mario Chalmers down 3 in Game 4, lost to San Antonio Antonio in 2014 in the conference finals due to playing too much ISO ball, blew a 3-1 lead to Golden State in 2016, was awful down the stretch in Game 6, scored 19 points on 7 of 21 shooting in Game 7, lost in the first round each of the first 3 seasons after KD left OKC, and now he's an aging superstar with a terrible jump shot. James Harden, who just can't get past Golden State, lost in 5 in the conference finals in 2015 after a horrendous Game 5 with 12 turnovers, was pathetic in the final game against San Antonio in Game 6 of 2017. Chris Paul's hamstring gave out in 2018, and Harden was too passive in Game 5 against Golden State in 2019. Had absolutely no excuses losing this season. He's an excellent regular season player who can't get it done in the playoffs, will turn 30 years old in August, and still has plenty of time to win a ring. Out of the 3 current players who were former MVPs, who do you want to win a title most? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I talk NBA comparisons, amazing storylines, NBA history, and anything basketball that will interest you. If you love the NBA, subscribe for more content, more great stuff coming soon. I love all of you. See you next time.